What's going on, guys? North Texas water utility serving 2 million people. They have just been hit with a cyber attack. In fact, we've got additional updates on a number of different topics that I want to share with you guys today. Salmonella outbreak hitting 32 states. Believe it or not, at least 2 deaths have been reported as of this recording. And the growing concerns in China as the country deals with the rise in respiratory illnesses and clusters of pneumonia in children. Guys, this thing's getting worse here. In fact, President Joe Biden is being pressured to take immediate action by suspending travel. Now, I'm not sure if this means lockdown. You can interpret that the way you will, but this is fairly serious if you ask me. In addition, the World Health Organization formally asked Beijing for more details on the spike in cases. China has given more information on these outbreaks of pneumonia among children, telling the WHO, the World Health Organization, that they're not seeing any kind of unusual pathogens. Now, I want to ask you guys: do you trust China? Do you trust them to tell us the truth on what they're really seeing with this new, undiagnosed, unexpected virus? I mean, I've said this a number of times on previous videos before. We've seen this pattern happen 4 years ago, and you can't forget how things transpired from that point. Now, really quickly, I just want to take a second and ask if you guys could just drop a quick comment down below. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. And I'm actually going to share my screen, and I'm testing this out for the first time. Hopefully you guys can see it. There's some topics that I want to share with you guys that I want you guys to be able to see as we're going over this. So if you guys could keep me cued in, let me know if everything looks okay, if everything sounds okay. I really appreciate that, you guys. So now, the Chinese local media, they're reporting earlier that some hospitals in northern China, believe it or not, they're at capacity. Some of these hospitals are already maxed out, okay? And essentially, they're reporting that these patients, they were younger patients, and clusters of basically there were clusters of these patients that were coming in, and the majority of them were younger patients. And what was originally reported as an unexplained, undiagnosed pneumonia, which has been on the rise in the last 6 months, but they're now saying that they're attributed to more commonly known viruses such as the flu, RSV, and other bacterial illnesses. Now I want to ask you guys, does this sound right to you? Do you believe this? Now, I got comments coming in. Everything looks fine. Everything looks good. Iron Skull, Potsby, Sir Tomcat. Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Piggy's Picks. I appreciate you guys. Awesome. So yeah, this is my first time going live streaming with this new software. So bear with me. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some hiccups. Hopefully not too badly, but hopefully you guys enjoy the show. Again, lots of topics I want to share with you guys. Texas, Ohio, multiple states. In fact, 32 states hit with salmonella, the salmonella virus, and of course, there's a fairly significant cyber attack that targeted Texas, serving over 2 million customers was hit. I mean, can you believe this, guys? A lot of you guys are long-time subscribers. You've been watching the channel for a long time. You guys know we talked about this. We talked about the warnings from the FBI after the Hamas attack, the Hamas-Israel war. The FBI had come out and warned us that these attacks on U.S. soil would likely be happening. And I think we're seeing more and more evidence of this. So yeah, it's wild. Now, here's the thing. I asked you guys, do you trust China? That's a serious question for you guys. I want you to please just take a second, comment down below. Let me know if you trust China, letting us know that this virus, this outbreak is nothing to worry about. Just like the virus outbreak we had 4 years ago was not much to worry about. Let me know if they're trustworthy. Now, the thing is whether you're a Democrat or Republican really doesn't matter. But I'll tell you what, Republicans, based on their actions, don't believe that we can trust China. And I'm going to tell you why. Republicans urge President Joe Biden to suspend China travel amid uptick in respiratory illness. Why would they ask President Joe Biden to suspend travel? There's a reason for that. Senate Republicans called on President Joe Biden to restrict travel between the U.S. and China in response to a rise in respiratory infections among children in China. Since mid October, China has reported an increase in respiratory diseases, which officials have attributed to the lifting cause of the C-19 restrictions. Chinese authorities have said that these infections are being fueled by known pathogens rather than the undiagnosed pathogens which were initially reported. So it's kind of like they're changing the story now, including the flu, RSV, COVID, and a common bacterial infection caused by Mycoplasma pneumoniae. Don't know really how to pronounce that. So anyway, in their letter to President Joe Biden, um, however, Senate Republicans repeatedly made references to a mystery and unknown illness affecting children in China. So essentially, they said, as you know, the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, has a long history of lying about public health crises. So that tells you everything you need to know about where the Republicans stand in terms of whether they trust China or not, because they called them out. It is right here. This is a direct quote uh, saying that the Chinese Communist Party has a long history about lying about public health crises. During the C-19 pandemic, the CCP's obfuscation of the truth and lack of transparency robbed the United States of vital knowledge about the disease and its origin. How many of you guys think that we would have had a completely different outcome if we had legitimate information early on about the previous pandemic that we're on our way out of? Do you think that we would have had a much different outcome? Do you think that more people would possibly have been able to survive had we had the truth shared with us as soon as it was available? If you believe that we would have been better off knowing the truth right out the gate, comment one. If you think that if if you think that whether we got the truth or not would have made no difference whatsoever, comment number two. So the World Health Organization, they're monitoring this situation in China, and they have requested information on the disease clusters among the children. So hopefully we'll get some more information on that. Ultimately, they're saying that we should not wait for the WHO to take action given its track record of slavish deference to the CCP. We must take the necessary steps to protect the health of Americans and our economy. That means that we should immediately, they're requesting immediately restricting travel between the United States and the PRC until we get more information about the dangers posed by this new illness. They're labeling this, guys, as a new illness, in spite of what China is trying to say about this thing here. So, and of course, you got health officials so far saying that there's no cause for alarm. I think we heard something very similar 4 years ago. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Centers of Disease Control and Prevention Director Mandy Cohen told lawmakers this week that statements from China regarding the cause of the illnesses have been corroborated by both a CDC office and European Union partner. We believe that there is no new or novel pathogen. Believe that if you want, but that's the information that we have to go by. But here's the thing, guys. Like I said, we've been told stories before, and it pretty much burned us pretty severely last time that happened. But check this out. So it says here that Chinese health officials call out Western media's lack of common sense on countries' respiratory illnesses rise. So they're basically saying they're calling us out now. Do you believe that? They're now calling the United States out. Kind of interesting. So I don't know if you guys can see. I don't know if you guys can see entirely my screen. Let me see if I can get kind of show you a little bit more of that. Squeeze that a little bit in. Can you? Like I said, this is there we go. Um, like I said, guys, new software. I'm trying to get used to this thing, but yeah. So Chinese health officials, they're calling out the Western media and the lack of common sense on countries' respiratory illnesses rise. Chinese health experts are warning to reassure the public about the recent spike in respiratory illnesses and are pointing the blame at modern media, Western media outlets for disregarding both common sense and facts. Let me know what you guys think. I'm not making this stuff up. And by the way, if you guys want to follow along, I'm gonna make sure to leave some links for you guys in the description of this video. As soon as the live ends, I'll make sure to share this with you guys. So North Texas, guys, North Texas literally just got hit with a severe cyber attack. And this cyber attack, it affected 2 million people. So basically, this was a North Texas water utility that serves over 2 million people in North Texas. And again, they're still dealing with the aftermath of this cyber attack, cybersecurity incident that caused several operational issues. With more than 850 employees, North Texas Municipal Water District provides wholesale water, wastewater, and solid waste management services to more than 13 cities in the state. Now, here's the thing. The director of communications told reporters that they recently detected a cyber attack affecting their business computer network. They went on to say most of the business network has been restored. Clearly, not everything is resolved at this point. Our core water, wastewater, and solid waste services to our member cities and customers have not been impacted by this incident. We continue to provide those services as usual. But again, guys, this is one of many attacks, cyber attacks that we've been seeing across the nation. And again, specifically, they're targeting our infrastructure. We talked about this. The FBI warned about this. Shortly after the Hamas Israel attacks, war, whatever you want to call it, took place, FBI came on and warned us that we would likely see attacks on U.S. soil. Let's see, the cybercrime gang known as the Daxon team said it was behind the attack, adding that the NTM WD to its list of victims on Monday, claiming to have stolen, guess this, more than 33,000 files containing customer information. Here's the thing, guys. 33,000 files doesn't necessarily mean that 33,000 people's information was compromised. A single file could have thousands of customer personal information data on each file. So, and I'm not saying that that's how many were, I'm not saying that's how much customer data was on each file, but theoretically, a file can hold thousands, even millions of customer information on it. So, customer details on it. So, I'm just saying, they're serving 2 million people. I'm going to personally assume the worst. And I'm just going to assume that, hey, up to 2 million people could be affected by this thing. So we're going to wait for additional details on that and see what comes about. Because, I mean, and honestly, if I live in Texas, I don't know where you guys are. Drop me a comment down below what state you guys are in. But if I live in Texas or if I know someone in Texas, I'm probably going to strongly consider freezing my credit report from all three credit bureaus. What is it? Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. I'm not gonna wait and find out what could happen with any information that may have potentially gotten into the wrong hands. The ransomware group emerged in 2022 June and caused significant damage in September 2022 to Oak Bend Medical Center, also in Texas, specifically Richmond, Texas. The hospital ended up spending weeks recovering after its phone lines and patient record systems were brought down by an attack. If you're able to get to your patient records, especially in a hospital, think about what kind of information's in there: name, phone number, address, your health history, any kind of medication you're on, social security numbers, date of birth. Think about think about the impact of that kind of information getting into the wrong hands. How many passwords or password recovery methods are leveraging last four digits of your social, all of your social security number, or date of birth? That's very, very dangerous. So, like I said, I wouldn't just sit around waiting to find out if you're a victim or not. I would take immediate action personally if that were me. Ransomware gangs have also targeted water utilities as critical infrastructure organizations are likely to pay exorbitant ransoms to restore service. Yeah, so U.S. law enforcement agencies said that ransomware gangs hit five U.S. water and wastewater treatment facilities from 2019 to 2021, and it looks like things are only escalating. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I think it's fairly serious. I wouldn't ignore that. Beyond that, there's 11 states, including Tennessee, that have high or very high respiratory illness. And there's a map showing what's going on here. So here's the map down here. We can see the states that are in the really dark colors here, dark purple and red. Really, it looks like it's hitting the southern states pretty uh, almost like a lopsidedly more so than the northern and Midwest states. But I mean, so just wanted to kind of let you guys see geographically where we're at, right? So I don't know how many of you guys have gotten sick. I got sick for like 2 days and I recovered, but I take pretty good care of myself, so I generally won't get sick and stay sick for very long. I'm really good on drinking water often. Hey, Harley, it's nice to catch you live as well. Um, David Brooks, what's going on? What's going on, Tim B? I see you in the comments. But yeah, I take pretty good care of myself. I work out daily, drink a lot of water. I probably consume anywhere between half a gallon to a gallon of water every single day. High protein diet, minimal fried foods. And I cook most of the food that I consume, and I get a fair amount of rest. So if I feel myself getting sick, I don't wait. I'll increase my my certain vitamin intakes, rest more, and increase water. And usually I can bounce back pretty quickly, which is why I was able to kind of recover in like 2 days. Dallas Haskins Gaming, what is going on? Ben Stipe. Hey guys, by the way, we've got close to 200 people in here. If we can get half the room to do me a huge favor, drop a quick like for the video. I would totally appreciate you guys. You guys literally mean the world to me. I really appreciate that. But yeah, guys, this outbreak is, and it's interesting because we're seeing a lot of different things transpire right now. You got the salmonella outbreak, which I didn't go into yet. You got this unknown mystery virus coming out of China, affecting multiple countries: Netherlands, India, Taiwan. I'm starting to lose count of the different countries that were affected before ultimately getting to the United States. So it's pretty serious, and it's pretty interesting at the same time because, again, right around this time, a couple years ago, 4 years ago, we encountered this same um, quietly kept information being leaked out about possible viruses, right? And a lot of sources kind of blew it off before ultimately things got really serious, and they ultimately ended up shutting down multiple countries, which it was an unprecedented event. Now, I'm not trying to scare anyone, but I'm just looking at patterns and identifying what we saw before, so hopefully we don't go through that mess again. Um, then, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we're seeing an increased number of mysterious illnesses affecting our dogs, respiratory illnesses. I don't know if you guys had heard about that, but I don't know if humans are transferring this respiratory disease to dogs or where these dogs are getting it from, but there's a number of things that are coming at us. And according to what we were privy to from previous reports, the C19 virus was like modified in such a way that it allowed it to uh, infect humans way faster and way easier than a normal virus would have been able to do, which was why it was, pretty severe. But also, it was able to move from animal to human, which generally doesn't happen. So I don't know if we're seeing a repeat. Hopefully not. The old bag says Bill Gates and China. I really don't like saying Bill Gates and China in the same sentence, if you know what I mean. So it says here seasonal influenza activity continues to increase in most parts of the country, most notably in South Central, Southeast, Mountain, and West Coast regions. Louisiana and South Carolina have so much flu activity, they've landed themselves in the most severe high category. Uh, Alabama, Alabama, California, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, New Mexico, Puerto Rico, Tennessee, and Texas are not far behind. They are all classified as having high respiratory illness activity, as New York City, as is New York City, which reports data separately from the rest of New York State. And here's the latest data from the CDC showing, the week of November 5th to November 11th. Um, so this was the state of affairs at that point. And as you can see here, it shows that this is up to the end of November 25th. Now, I'd love to request that this map get updated to show, real time, but this is what we have so far. As soon as I can get more fresh information, I'm definitely going to be sharing it with you guys. But this is something that we should clearly be taking uh, paying full attention to. CDC experts predict that this year's respiratory virus season will look a lot like last year. Now, I want to ask you guys, do you get flu shots? Me personally, I don't get flu shots. I think the last time I got a flu shot, I was like 14 years old, and I haven't had one since. Uh, so I just like to get you guys' take. Do you take flu shots? Do you believe in them? Do you make your kids get a flu shot? Does your job make you get a flu shot or a C19 shot? Let me know what you guys generally end up doing. Now, Salmonella outbreak infects dozens, killing two across 32 states, including Texas. Texas has been getting hit hard. Salmonella outbreak, you got cyber attacks hitting their water systems, their infrastructure. I don't know what Texas did, but apparently Texas must have pissed some people off because it looks like Texas is getting picked on. Anybody out here from Texas? Um, so, but anyway, so the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention released a warning about an outbreak of salmonella linked to cantaloupe. And I actually love cantaloupe. I don't know if you guys like cantaloupe, but it's one of my favorite fruits. That has infected nearly 100 people across 32 states, including Texas. The CDC said through interviews with sick individuals and tests, investigators have basically linked the outbreak to cantaloupe. So the very fruit that kind of helps you to improve your health, and it's linked to the salmonella. So not a good look. Since the outbreak, several cantaloupe brands have recalled their products, including Melishita brand whole cantaloupes. You got Vineyard brand pre-cut cantaloupes, and Aldi whole cantaloupe and pre-cut fruit products. So they're investigating this thing. 45 people have been hospitalized. 2 people have died as a result of this illness, according to the CDC. CDC is warning people to discard any recalled cantaloupe or other fruit products. Additionally, it's wild. Did you guys know how deadly salmonella is? Like, that's I think that's something that kind of gets overlooked. But what's you guys' take on what we covered today? I definitely love to hear from you guys. Get those water filters and wash food before preparing and cooking. That is excellent advice. I really appreciate that tip there. Um, Let me see. Some of these comments I can't even. Haven't they heard of the the expression "Don't mess with Texas"? Guess not. I'm from Texas. That's right, Cash. That's right. I forgot you are from Texas. Um, uh, Tamara. Wow, Tamara. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Appreciate the recognition for my hard work. You are super duper awesome, and I cannot thank you enough. Um, how are you guys doing though? How are you guys doing? I mean, we got elections coming up. I feel like I don't know what it is. 2024 elections are coming up, and anytime elections come up, things get real interesting. Either there's protesting, which we just had. Um, there's rioting in the streets, which we had in some cities. There's viral outbreaks, which we saw 4 years ago. I mean, like, is this like planned? I'm just wondering, is this just planned behavior, planned activity? It's just unbelievable how we see these events like just like repeat themselves. Um, so what's you guys take on that? Like, I don't know. Um, don't don't be don't I don't want to call it a conspiracy or anything like that, but it's just interesting how some of these things, some of these events end up repeating themselves, and it's kind of hard to ignore the patterns, if you know what I'm saying, if you're paying attention. Joe Skinwalker said gain of function. Exactly. Gain of function research is basically researching viral like viruses and bacteria and learning how to modify them um, to alter their natural genetic capabilities. I'm not a doctor, but I just keep reading this stuff, and that's basically what that is. So that is supposed to be a big no-no, and it's one of the things that Dr. Anthony Fauci, denied doing until he couldn't deny it anymore, and people called him out for it, and he got exposed. He got exposed. So it's very very interesting. I just saw a comment in here. London has fallen. The old bag says London has fallen. What does that mean? I'd love to hear from you, and just let me know what that means. Um, what do you mean by London has fallen? Piggy Pix says, I don't get any vaccinations or inoculations. I don't even like the word inoculation. Like, I just don't like the word. Anyway, I got a religious exemption when my job was going to try and enforce it. I was one of the few that didn't get sick when the whole job got sick. Interesting. And you avoided the vaccination. It's very interesting. Um, I wonder why more people haven't tried to get a religious exemption so that they wouldn't have to, get jabbed if they didn't want to get jabbed. Um, Kind of interesting how the jobs, some of these employers kind of want to run your life, um, including managing your health. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but do you think that's fair that your employer basically dangles your job in front of you? If you don't get this, if you don't get this job, then we're gonna have to get rid of your, eliminate your position. What's you guys' take on that? Is that fair to you? Is that because obviously there's other people involved, unless obviously there's other people involved if you happen to work in an office. So from a business perspective, if the employer believes that to protect their team everyone should get a vaccination or a jab, then I can understand why they're pushing that. But if you work from home, should you be forced? So you guys know where I stand on that. What's up, Patrick Lund? I see you in the comments. um it's a C19 world in the winter, according to Mob 78. Um, let's see. Harley Morris says no flu shots, and my kiddos don't get flu shots either. Don't trust the ingredients in those either. All right, Harley, I appreciate your comment. Thank you for sharing that with us. Um, Joe Skinwalker says yes, with love and all with love and all planned from the puppet masters, the election virus. Um, wow. Yeah. Um, so interesting state of events, interesting state of affairs. If you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. Drop a quick like for the video. If we can get the likes up to like 200 likes, that will be pretty freaking amazing. But regardless, you guys are awesome no matter what. I want to ask that you guys please say a prayer for peace. Let's pray that this is a very let's just pray that we don't have a relapse of what we experienced 4 years ago. Let's hope that everything is actually far more minor than what we think. Again, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Drop a like for the video. Check out my previous videos. And also check out Truth Exposed, brand new channel, brand new YouTube channel. Getting a lot of love from you guys. You guys are enjoying it, and I appreciate the feedback from you. So if you haven't checked out Truth Exposed, you'll see a link for that in the description down below this video. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and go to bed. It's getting kind of late over here, and I'm going to see you guys on the next one. You guys be safe.